up, everyone? It's me, Stef, the alternate, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to the Royal Clubhouse, live with my very special guest, my very good friend, Meghan Small is in the building. Hey up,
Hello.
boss, how's it
Hello.
going?
How are you, my lovely? How are you? I am so excited for this. You have no idea.
Oh my goodness. I've been so excited to have you on my channel for so long now, ever since I've been kind of building the courage up to A, do this live series, and then B, actually have my friends on. Like, it's thank you so much for saying yes. I'm going to say it publicly. Thank you so much for saying yes to
No,
me.
girl, I would always come and support you regardless. Like, first of all, let me say congratulations on smashing past 100K. Like, you go, girl. That's awesome. And you've got an amazing fan base here. We all love you, Steph. You know that, right?
Well, we all
I'm
love
so
you
proud of
too.
you. I'm
Oh,
so proud of you. So, so proud of you and all of your achievements and all of your accomplishments. And there is just more in the future for you, right? Exactly.
ditto for you as well, my love. Ditto for you. My goodness, guys. So yes, welcome to Royal Clubhouse. We'll be starting the topics in a moment, but we've been getting some support through already. So just to quickly go through them. Firstly, Nicola, thank you so much for the £2 sugar buck saying A up from Barnsley, Steph. A up. We also have General Scott in the building. I salute you, mate. Thank you so much for the $2 sugar bucks and the ginger doggy fighting arts moment. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Everyone's saying A up to you. Megan's Mall in the chat. I'm seeing all the salutations there. We have Jean Rick, who has gifted one leadership to one of you lucky lots out there. So everyone say A up to our newest leader, courtesy of Jean Rick. We will be starting the first topic in a moment, so do bear with. We also have General Scott in the chat being like, I see you, Jean Rick. I see you gifting a leadership, and I'm going to gift another one. So another leadership gifted to some of you lucky lots out there. So everyone say A up to our newest leaders, courtesy of General Scott and Jean Rick. And that only means one thing, guys. The gifting wars have officially begun. So thank you so much to General Scott for kicking off today's gift wars for today's Royal Clubhouse. We also have Nancy DVI with some sugar bucks and Jean Rick as well with my favourite ginger doggy fighting arts moment. For those that are not initiated with this, let me just explain. This is a ginger doggy. There are hearts coming from the tail when you lift the tail from a doggy. What's directly underneath? The butthole. Therefore, this is a ginger doggy fighting arts moment. You will never be able to ever unsee it ever again. You're welcome. My goodness, you guys are amazing with the support. Thank you. Thanks also to Sarai for your continued support for the leadership, saying for sure it's been more than 9 months. I love you, Steph. A up, alter nerds. Appreciate you too. Jean Rick saying I love the new Royal Clubhouse beginning. Happy Friday. Happy Friday indeed. Yeah, so before we jump into the first topic, which is the Hazza and Megsy news of the week. Overall, Megan's Mole, what did you think to this Colombia trip that just happened the past week?
You really want my opinion? It was okay, let me get serious for a second here. It was an absolute vulgar display of wealth in the faces of these school children and everyone in a poverty-stricken country. Everyone knows that Colombia is not doing too well economically and their people are struggling. And to see Meghan Markle walk around in this practically third world country, basically, with over $120,000 worth of jewelry, clothing, just flaunting it in their faces was absolutely disgusting, in my opinion. And the thing is that they could have just shown up with like a $50,000 check, $25,000 check. They could have shown up with new shoes for the school children because there are a lot of school children in Colombia who don't wear shoes to school. There were some like children that were dancing for them and they were dancing on the rocks barefooted. And I'm just thinking, there you're sitting with like a $15,000 necklace. You basically look like Colonel Sanders's wife who has come to grace the peasants with her presence. And it's just like, you look stupid, you look silly, and you look ridiculous for throwing this amount of obscene wealth in the faces of these children. It was just horrible. And there was one photo, Steph, that I had posted on X, and it shows Harry sitting at the side as usual, deflated, and he has the dirtiest shoes on, completely scuffed, completely marked up. And I'm thinking, what kind of wife who spent all this money on making sure she looks the best, she couldn't spend like what, $100 to get his shoes clean so they look presentable at least? It's just he's just constantly being devalued, and you wonder, like, when are you gonna wake up, man? Grow a pair.
Yeah, I do think he is constantly being devalued by Megxie. I think that
Mhm.
speaks to her alleged narcissism to ensure that, everyone around her is devalued and looks absolutely shiz in comparison to her,
Mhm.
lifting her up. I mean, when you look at the whole Colombian tour as a whole, this was the Megxie show. I mean, usually it's the Hazard and Megxie show, but this time it was just very clearly the Megxie show. I mean, you look at pictures and he's in the background, she's in the forefront. She stood next to the vice president. He's not. He's the
Mhm.
blood-born prince, not her.
Yeah.
The hierarchy
And
should dictate that he should be the one that shakes their hand first, that speaks to them first, that's in front of the photo, that stood next to the vice president, this, that, and the other. But it's
well, she has
the other
no
way
respect
around.
for him. Yeah, she has no respect for him at all. Zero respect. And that's so obvious. And I've been making this point for the last couple days that when William William would never treat his brother in that manner. You saw when it was William and Catherine, Harry was always standing side by side with him. William always made sure his brother stood shoulder to shoulder next to him. Even though Harry would throw his digs at his brother during these interviews, William always had him standing next to him. Whereas with Meghan, you're in the back, you're peering over other people's shoulders, and Meghan's in the front. It was just like their fake Nigeria tour, right? It was all about Meghan. And this just reminds me, it just makes me feel like we heard how Meghan wasn't so popular like in elementary school. And it takes me like her behavior just takes me back to like, you know how in elementary school we had those like girls that were a bit well off that would always love to show off in front of the other students? It's like Meghan is living her 12-year-old dreams, basically, of being a show off in front of these poverty stricken children. And it's gross for 48 or whatever old she is, 62 or whatever. She shouldn't be doing this in front of children.
Yeah, and the whole children situation. Let's segue into that, you guys, because yeah, the Hazard and Megxie news of the week is all about their Colombia tour, and yeah, we're going to discuss why did Megxie not bring Archie and Lilibet to Colombia. A big part of that tour was all about the kids. You'd think that she'd bring Archie and Lilibet along so Archie and Lilibet could be a little bit more cultured as to how other children live around the world and all that malarkey. Before we kick into that, firstly, Truffles, thank you so much for the $5 sugar bucks. Tracy G, thank you for your message of Happy Friday, fellow nerds. And also to Tracy G for jumping in today's gifting wars, gifting one leadership to one of you lucky lots out there. So everyone say, hey up to our newest leaders, courtesy of Tracy G. But yeah, with that being said, let's roll into the first intro. Why did Meghan Markle not bring Archie and Lilibet to Colombia? I'm going to discuss this with Meghan's mole. You know she'll have some opinions, so let's kick it off in 3, 2, 1. Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef, the alternate, your nerdy alternative, and I am joined with Meghan's mole. Thank you so much for joining me for today's Royal Clubhouse Live. And in the Harry and Meghan news of the week, we're going to discuss why did Meghan Markle not bring Archie and Lilibet to Colombia? Now, Meghan's mole, you have some very, and some would say very controversial opinions about Archie and Lilibet. So, why do you think Megsy didn't bring them to Colombia?
Well, that's an easy answer. First of all, can I say that your intros always take me out? Like, I'm always laughing at them. I love your royal intros. But also, Meghan didn't bring Archofficial or Invisibet because then they would get the attention. It's supposed to be all about Meghan and her fake kindness towards the children because we would see how she would pretend to be all happy and smiley when she's posing with the kids, but then there are some photos where I think she thinks the cameras are off of her and you see the scowl on her face. That poor child's hand that she was holding. Can someone please let me know if that child's hand is okay? Because it looked like she was gripping that kid's hand to, like she was squishing it. It was crazy. I need a report. I need to know that that child is safe and if they were okay and if their hand is okay also. But yeah, Archie and Lilibet didn't come because Meghan would get the attention.
Yeah, I mean, I did a video earlier on this week and it was absolutely insane. There's this one picture of Meghan and she's sat next to this child, this boy, and she's kind of looking down at him, down her nose at him, and he's like, to me, "Save me,
Yeah.
please. Save me,
Yeah.
please." I mean, the majority of the photos that have come out when it comes to, Hazza and Megsy with the children of Colombia, actually, they don't give a shiz. Like, they
No.
really, really don't give a shiz whatsoever. They're bored. And I think part of it is there's a rumor, don't think it's really confirmed as such, that Hazza and Megsy actually deceived the Colombian children. They thought that this like famous footballer was actually going to visit them, but instead they had the gruesome twosome that came up.
Yeah,
Um,
so it was sorry to interrupt you
yeah, go
there,
for it.
Steph. That was Enty who had first shared that information, and he was the one that broke that story. So he had mentioned that the children were told that a famous football star was going to show up, and they even stayed past school time. They stayed over an hour later because Harry and Meghan are constantly late for some reason and wasting money constantly, and the children were told that they would have meet a soccer star. Instead, they got Harry and Meghan. I
Wah,
let me
wah, wah.
Yeah. What a bait and switch, huh? Who does that to children? That's the most horrific thing to do, especially to like children who are in those areas where they don't see, like, you get them all excited only to rip the carpet out from them. It's so mean. And as a parent myself, you cannot put this image out that you're a caring, compassionate person and you care for others people's children when we have yet to see how you interact with your own children, and you keep your own alleged children hidden from both sides of the family. So, how are we supposed to believe that you're this compassionate person who cares about people's children when you are basically emotionally and mentally damaging your own alleged children by keeping them hidden like phantom hostages?
Well, this kind of gets on to my next part of the conversation with you because, yes, you do have, as some would say, some controversial opinions in terms of the existence of Archie and Lilibet. Now, I have just put a poll in the live chat. You guys in the live are welcome to participate in it. Do you believe that Archie and Lilibet actually exist? Yes or no? Use your vote now on that. But in the meantime, I saw this that came out and I thought, this is a little bit of an interesting tidbit. Now, it's a blind item for Menti Lawyer, and it was done about 3 days ago. So the name on the birth certificate of the older child, so this is, I'm presuming they're talking about Megsy and Archie here, isn't in the California vaccine computer system anyway. So what name is the offspring of the illiterate one using? And I would safely assume that if Archie and Lilibet exist, that they would have had their vaccines because Hazza and Megsy made such a song and dance about
Mhm.
vaccine equity about 3-4 years ago during that, and we're going to call it the Bud Light episode because a YouTube human reviewer here. And so you mentioned Meghan's mole that, oh, yeah, you know, the reason why Megsy didn't bring Archie and Lilibet is because they would have taken all of the attention away from her, which, again, to speak to her alleged narcissism would be an absolute nightmare for someone like Megsy. But does
Mhm.
it go a little bit further with, well, she didn't bring them because, quite frankly, they don't exist?
Personally, myself, I think that there is an Archie. I'm always stuck on the second part. I'm always stuck on the whole Invisibet part. I don't know if there's actually an Invisibet who exists, but I personally believe there's an Archie. I always say Meghan's birthed her children by surrogacy, which is why they don't belong in the line of succession. That's been my whole thing, right? Like prove that you gave birth to those children. That's it. But I think that I think maybe because Archie's birth certificates have been changed and amended a couple times, a part of me sometimes wonder if they used a different name for Archie to register him. Like, did they register him under the name of His Royal Highness Prince Archofficial Harrison Mountbatten Windsor, sixth in line Sussex? Or did they use like a different last name, like Archie Sussex? And register him. There's a lot, or who even knows if Harry and Meghan are even being honest? Like, who knows if they even took the vaccine themselves? We don't know that either. We don't know anything because it's always been a game with these two. These two are liars. And just because they support something doesn't mean that they actually really support it, right? They're just jumping on the bandwagon.
Hmm. I mean,
What
it
do you?
would make to me they jump on the bandwagon a lot. Okay,
Mhm.
they piggyback off of other causes, charities, whatever you want to call it, an opinion conspiracy theory, whatever. Try and make it out that it was their idea, that they created it. I mean, the most epic, obvious one of all is the Invictus Games with Prince Harry. No, it wasn't just his idea. Firstly, it was created with the Ministry of Defence, Prince William and Princess Catherine. But secondly, he stole the idea from the Warrior Games, as far as a lot of us are concerned, right? So that's just one example of how they like to take causes and charities and whatnot and spin it to try and make it their own and make it out that they were the only ones that created it, that they're the only ones that thought of it, this, that, and the other. One thing that doesn't make sense is for all the time that they spent with the Colombian children, you would have thought that, well, hang on a minute, why not bring Archie and Lilibet to meet the Colombian children as well? See
Mhm.
how the other children in the world live. Get them to be more cultured, more open to the world. If anything, I'm actually quite concerned when it comes to Archie and Lilibet because by all kind of like intents purposes, how it all looks, it feels like they're just trapped in Montecito Royale, like the
You-
two princes locked in the tower situation.
Yeah,
Kind of feels
it's
like
an
that, but with
overall.
Archie and Lilibet. I wonder how their social development is coming along when it comes to interacting with other children and things like that.
Girl, it's a sad, sad situation all around. I personally, I think that number one, besides Meghan not taking the invisible children down to Colombia because all the attention would then be on them, I feel like Meghan wouldn't take them down there because she thinks her children are better than those kids. Like she's a snob about it. Like she thinks, why would I bring my kids to meet these gross children that live in these huts? Like she probably thinks like that. She probably definitely looks down at these children, these innocent children who are born in these countries. Like she probably thinks my kids are too good to meet these people. I'm not bringing them here. Gross. It's probably like that. You ever thought about it that way?
You make a good point. I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah. I this is the way that I think about it. She's like, why would I bring my children around these kids? Gross. That's what I think. Like, why wouldn't you? Like my, okay, I constantly tell everyone, like my little one is a few weeks younger than Archie. Okay, so he loves going places. He loves seeing different things. Like I take him everywhere to the museum, to art galleries. He loves that kind of stuff. And you're opening their minds to like other things. And it's just like, why wouldn't you want your children to interact with other kids? Why? Because she probably thinks her kids are better than everyone else's. Her kids only should be around people with money. It's almost like she's using her own children as like pawns to social climb. She only wants her children to be around like other millionaire children or other wealthy people, but then she's always keeping them hostage. How are your children going to be able to interact with other kids when they're not around other kids? It's
Yeah, but not
sad.
only that, other kids from different social and economic backgrounds. One of
Mhm.
the reasons why I think uh, something went wrong with Hazard, but why Prince William is so much more relatable and so much more well liked in various corners of the UK community. Because whether you're poor, you're rich, or in the middle, wherever you've come from, Prince William is one of the most popular members of the royal family. And that,
Mhm.
I think, is to do with his upbringing that Princess Diana tried to instill in both him and Hazard. Somewhat went wrong with Hazard. That's a given, really, at this point. And
Been dropped on his head. That's what.
possibly, I wouldn't be surprised. But this is the thing, you saying that Megsy uses her children as pawns. I definitely do believe that. I mean, she used them as pawns all the way through, this Colombian trip, peppered with little anecdotes here and there, saying to a student, apparently in Spanish, that you're the same age as my son Archie. Now, whether she actually said that in proper, correct Spanish or not, is another thing altogether. Let's be real here. And then, the internet broke. Yeah, right. When some of the Sussex squaddies noticed that, oh, look, Megsy did bring Archie and Lilibet. She's wearing them on her chest with a lovely little necklace. Yeah, no, it would have been better that they actually came. Because do you know what? If Colombia is good enough for Megsy and Hazard to travel to, then it should also be good enough then for Archie and Lilibet to go to, seeing as the UK is so dangerous that Megsy could have be a victim of a knife or acid attack. But Colombia's Gucci. Yeah.
Can I just make a point here, Steph, also? Um, I had said before, because have you ever noticed how we never see photos of Prince Harry around any of the younger children in the family? Have you ever noticed that? Like, we've never seen photos of Harry playing with George or Charlotte or Louis or any of the younger, like, children. And it almost makes me wonder if, like, something is wrong with Harry and he's kind of passing that genetic pain down to his own phantom hostage children, his genetic pain that he cried about.
Well, I do believe, I mean, we're not diagnosing here. We're not like
No, not at all.
proper
We're just
medical
having.
experts or anything. This is just shooting the wind. But I do think there is something psychologically wrong with Hazard, as with
Mhm,
Megsy as well, right? I mean, there's all those rumors that he has an anger issue. Now, for
mhm.
all the attempts that the Sussex squad try to make, turning around and saying, no, 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 it's Prince William that has the anger issue, this, that, and the other, and all the attempts that they do from time to time with the headlines being, oh, Prince William's got a temper, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not Prince William that's got the problem with his anger, it's Hazard. And there are a lot of rumours and speculation in terms of Hazard's past when it comes to alleged
Yeah.
interactions with the police,
Mhm,
when it comes to his anger, and a
mhm.
lot of things that have been allegedly swept under the carpet to
Well, yeah,
other
we've s
people's and alleged victims' detriment.
mhm,
And so when you've got someone who, let's say, allegedly has a major, major anger problem, okay, that can be quite physical with it, would you want that person to be around children? I know I wouldn't. I'm not a mother, let me be real here, but I know I wouldn't want that person around kids, that's for sure.
of course. Of course not. I mean, all seen the photos of Harry, him stumbling out of the pubs drunk, him trying to fight the paparazzi when he was younger. We've all seen angry Harry. Harry seems to think that just because he married Meghan Markle, all of that from his past has been wiped clean and he can rewrite his story of how he was such a good boy. But we all remember seeing angry Harry. You still see flashes of it.
Now, the thing is, and I'm going to be, like, for me, fair on this. Angry Harry during his, like, early teenage years, you know, stumbling out of the nightclubs, getting drunk, being angry, all this lot. I'm not actually going to, like, I want to say use that against him, but, you know, put that in as a factor. We've all been there. We've all been teenagers. We've all done dumb, stupid things as teenagers. I know I, for one, was a very, very angry teenager myself. I had a lot of anger issues. I'll be very, very honest with that. But I grew out of it, right? I grew up. I've learned to deal with my anger better. And as a result, I've got a happier life for it. For Hazza, I think that based on all the actions and everything that he said over the years, he's not gone past that. He's not grown up and learnt from it and uses that anger as a strength rather than a negative. It's still poison and it permeates everything that he does. And so as a result, when you've got someone who's like nearly like, I think 40 years old at this point, and he's got so much anger in him and still so much aggression, the here and now, it's like, well, hell no, I wouldn't want him around children. No way,
Yeah.
no how.
Yeah.
But going back to the main topic of discussion here, why did Megxie not bring Archie and Lilibet to Colombia? Well, according to Meghan's mole, we're looking at two options here. We're looking at, well, if they do exist, Megxie won't want them over in Colombia because they would steal the limelight, and Megxie is an alleged narcissist. Big, massive nightmare for her. And the second reason is, well, potentially they may not exist. Archie, yes. Lilibet, not too sure. But with that being said, if you appreciated what was coming out of Meghan Markle's gob, of course you did, because her logic is definitely undeniable, guys. Then head on over to her channel, Meghan's Mole. Let's help her finally get to 100,000. Guys, this is well overdue. And when I look at her Twitter and it says she's got the PhD in moon bumpology, guys, everything I know about it, I literally learned from Meghan's Mole. I still remember like the hour conversation that we had, where you were kind of like explaining all the ins and outs of it as to why, you know, you thought the pregnancies were, you know, allegedly fake, this, that, and the other. And I will always take that memory throughout me for the rest of the time, because it was like so awesome to speak to you and for you to explain everything. But when they come to your channel, honey, what are they to expect?
Oh, you know, just straight up honest truth and, you know, no sugarcoating on my channel. I just get right to the point, give my opinions, and sometimes we get a little bit wacky, but yeah, we just like to talk about what Meghan's doing, and that's it. And if she didn't want to be criticized, if she didn't want to hear my opinion, well, maybe behave yourself and act like a human being for once in your life, a respectable, classy human being. I know it's very difficult. I know it's very hard, but try it sometimes.
Try it sometimes, guys. And if you appreciated what was coming out of my gob, and I would say you did, because, you know, I'm biased that way, then make sure on your way out you subscribe to this channel for your daily nerds. With that being said, everyone watching on the live, stay exactly where you are. We're not done with you yet. But for everyone watching on the replay, here are some videos that you may want to clickety click, clickety click. All right, guys. So that was the first segment, the Hazza and Megzi news of the week. Thank you so much for all you guys' support as it was coming through. Just a few more before we get on to the next segment. First and foremost, Stephen Magnus jumping in today's gifting wars, gifting 5 leaderships to some of you lucky lots out there. So everyone say, hey, up to our newest leaders, courtesy of Stephen Magnus. Also as well, thank you so much for Stephen Swartz for being a leader for 14 months. Saying, hello, Steph, hope you're well, loving your work, 14 months and still going strong. There we are. Love it. And also thanks to Heather Flip Production for gifting 1 leadership to one of you lucky lots out there. So everyone say, hey, up to our newest leaders. Not only courtesy of Stephen Magnus, but also as well, Heather Flip Production. Oh my goodness. Now, that was a very interesting conversation. Before we start on the non-Hazza and Megzi segment, why do you now think that Archie exists? Because the last I heard from your opinion, you didn't really believe that both existed. You called them Archofficial and Invisibet, which I thought was quite fun and quite clever. But what perhaps may have changed your mind when it comes to Archie?
No, I've always believed that there was an Archie. I've always believed that there was an Archie. It's just that I've always said that those children don't belong within the line of succession because they weren't born of Meghan's body. That's what I've been going at, because we don't have the witness signatures from the doctors. I mean, come on, she didn't even act like a pregnant woman. And I was pregnant myself. So I always just conflate the two and I just put the two together and see what happens. And she just didn't act like a pregnant lady. So I've always believed there is an Archie, but I've believed that Archie doesn't belong in the line of succession that we are being lied to, basically. And people get upset at that. But with Invisibet, I really don't think there's an Invisibet. I think it is like, yeah, I don't believe there's an Invisibet. There's no records of an Invisibet. There's nothing. But at the end of the day, I kind of hope that there are no children in their possession or in their area vicinity, because I just pray that that's bad damage for children just to be hidden like that. Like Archie's 5 and Lily's 3 and they've never seen anyone besides cell block 6 Doria and whatever security guards that come and go. That's not healthy.
Well, like we were saying earlier on, you know, it does feel like they're like the 2 princes locked in the tower, you know, that they don't come out, that they don't socialise, and that's just going to be, if that's the case, I think a very, very big recipe for disaster. Now, on the record, and I've said this, I was on the fence when you initially explained it all to me, but now I'm under no illusions, opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, both those pregnancies were fake. But I do believe both Archie and Lilibet exist. I do believe that. It makes no sense to me why they wouldn't, whether one, both, or with the other kind of thing. And Lady C is very emphatic. When I spoke to her and asked her outright, do you think Archie and Lilibet exist? And she said yes. Like outright, they exist. They are there, flesh and form, body, blood. They are there. We've got Shaz here in the chat saying, I believe Archie exists, and in the UK, hence why Harry always comes over in May. But Lily, no, sorry, she's a figment of their imagination. So there are a lot that actually agree with you, Meghan's Mo, which is, yeah, I believe Archie exists, but Lilibet is a different thing altogether. Before we kick off with the non-Hazza and Megzi news of the week, we've got some more support coming through. Lisa, hey up, mic drop Lisa, gifting 1 leadership to one of you lucky lots out there. So everyone say hey up to our newest leader, courtesy of Lisa. Also as well, if I just scroll down a little bit more, yeah, little Lady D says, yeah, doctored birth certificate. There we go. And where was the other one? Yeah, Jack Benz, and the bump dropped to her knees in Birkenhead. I think as soon as I saw that, mixed with what you had told me, Meghan's Mole, I was like, yeah, I think those, at least the pregnancies as far as I'm concerned, did not exist. Like, no way, no how. And I think it's a big, massive conspiracy, and the media are part of the cover-up. But I think it's only a matter of time before they actually expose her, especially this German documentary. Oh my goodness, I am so waiting for this German documentary to come out. What do you think's in there that's rattled Megxie and Hazza so much that all of a sudden this German documentary is being put on hold?
I think maybe they just got more information from their friends that Meghan doesn't want out there. That's all it is. Because most of these documentaries, like we already know everything that they highlight. I want to see something new. So I'm hoping that the German documentary got something really juicy because we already like know basically everything. Meghan ghosts her friends, she ghosts her father, she ghosts everyone after she gets her way. Like we already know this. I want to see something else. I want to hear like there are so many stories that have gone around that I'm not going to mention here just to keep your channel in safe standing and to be respectful of you. But many of us have heard allegations and stuff, and I just want to hear the truth to one of these allegations and stories going around about her. That's all.
Mm. I think it's the yacht girl, alleged yacht girl days, that's been
You think
uncovered.
so?
But we'll see on that one. We'll see. A few more notes of support before we kick off the next segment. So Mum of Two, thank you so much for the $4.99 sugar bucks with the ginger doggy saying good job. Appreciate you, thank you. Terry Love, hearts in the chat for Terry Love, gifting a whopping 10 leaderships to some of you lucky lots out there. So everyone say, hey, up to our newest leaders, courtesy of Terry Love. Terry, I see you there. Thank you so much for that. In the meantime, yeah, let's kick off with the non-Hazza and Megxie news of the week. So in this segment, we're going to try our best not to insinuate, address, name Hazza and Megxie in any way, shape or form, because this is a non-Hazza and Megxie free zone. And we are going to start this in 3, 2, 1. Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef the Alt Nerd, your nerdy alternative, and I'm joined with my good friend Meghan's Mole. We are here live on Royal Clubhouse, and that happens every Friday, 7 o'clock UK time, 2 o'clock Eastern. So if you want to catch it live, well, now you know when it happens. But with that being said, we are now into the they shall not be named, news of the week. And I've chosen this particular topic, which is King Charles, as far as I'm concerned, being a king, doing exactly what he needs to do, visiting Southport. Now, for YouTube Human Reviewer, I've got to be a bit delicate in terms of how I explain this, but for those that haven't followed the news in the UK much, so yeah, about a month ago now, there was a horrific incident where a man decided to go to an area full of school children and with a knife attack them. 3 unfortunately were unalived. And so King Charles has made it to Southport to provide his condolences, his support, and I suppose do what he does best. I think he definitely learned from the best here when it comes to Queen Elizabeth. Here we've got at Hits Lancashire News, King Charles has arrived at Southport Town Hall. There was a round of applause as he paid his respects to the 3 young girls who lost their lives in the attack in July. Just look at this. And it's just absolutely heartbreaking when you look at this and you look at all the teddy bears and the flowers and the tributes to these little girls whose funerals they are happening as we speak at this point. But reportedly, all these flowers and tributes, when it's windy or raining, there are volunteers that are picking them up, putting them inside, and then putting them back out when it's safe to do so again. But yeah, Meghan's Mole, what is, your thoughts when it comes to the Southport horrific incident and how King Charles has, as far as I'm concerned, I think he stepped up to support the community and the country in such a difficult period. What do you think to all of this?
Look, I know I may be hard on King Charles at times, but this is where he excels the most when he's doing things with the community. I think that is what he is the great at, so great at. Just meeting with these families. I mean, when you are playing that video, I got goosebumps all over my body and like my eyes started welling up and I just can't imagine what that family is going through right now. And just the mothers, too. Like, you spend 9 months carrying a child only to have them tragically and horrifically taken away in that manner. And it just makes you so sad because it could have all been avoided. All of this nonsense could have easily been avoided. And now, what is happening to the person that did this? What is the consequences for them?
We don't know at the moment. The government, the police, there's not really a lot of information that's coming out at the moment about the male that, gotta say, allegedly did this. Now, there's a lot of conjecture out there when it comes to King Charles visiting Southport. This, I think, being absolutely disgusting. Some people are saying, oh, King Charles should have visited sooner. 4 weeks is too long. He should have visited sooner. Why didn't he? They're trying to delegitimize his visit to Southport, trying to rubbish him, turning around and saying that somehow it's not good enough. Now, the reports coming back to counter that is, look, his visit to Southport was delayed because he didn't want to burden the police. But the thing is, I think it's much more than that. I think it was delayed because, quite frankly, the state of the UK at the moment, with all the uprisings, riots, whatever you want to call them, that are sparked off because of the Southport incident, I think made it dangerous for King Charles to initially visit in the first place when all of that was going on. And I think if he did visit Southport soon after the horrific incident happened and during the UK riots, it could have been seen as a visual confirmation that he approved of the riots because he was going during whilst it was all happening at the height of it, if that makes sense. So when someone turns around to you, Meghan's Mole, and says, oh, well, actually, he should have visited sooner. He should have visited sooner. He shouldn't have waited 4 weeks to visit Southport, the community. He should have visited sooner. This is bad of him, bad monarch, blah, 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 bad king. I mean, do you agree with that sentiment? If you do, fair play. If you disagree, why? I mean, what would you say to criticism of King Charles with that?
Well, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. And I look at it like, because didn't King Charles have to wait until he was given the okay basically from Keir Starmer to go down there?
It's not. I mean, King Charles can do what he
I-
wants. He
Because
doesn't
what
need
I
the okay
feel
from Prime Minister. Um, Especially freaking, as far as I'm concerned, two-tier Keir, F.U. Keir Starmer.
You know what I feel, Steph? I feel like there are some bad actors that clearly want the monarchy destroyed. They want to get rid of the monarchy. And I feel like King Charles being made to wait a few weeks was kind of made in a way to make him look bad to the public, to be like, oh, well, look, it took him this long to get here when we don't really know what was going on in the background and why it really took him that long. They say it's security. I mean, he could have gone there, but I feel like in a way, I feel like they're trying to do it to make Charles look bad, to make him look like a bad king, because we know that there's a lot of people that don't like King Charles, right? And they want to get rid of him. So I feel like they put out these angles to make him or like make him wait and stuff to make him look like he's an uncaring king when we all know it's not true.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, there are a lot of people that do not like the monarchy, that don't like the king, and actually want to abolish it. Recent
Oh,
polls are showing that actually the majority still want the monarchy in place. They still approve of the king, the queen, Prince William, Princess Catherine, the whole lot of them, right? Apart from Prince Andrew, Prince Hazard, and Megsy. For some
mhm.
unknown reason, who knew? Oh my goodness! No,
You
I
said
just
it.
broke my
You
thing.
said
No,
it.
no, I just broke my one rule. Shiz. Okay, let's forget that ever happened. Anywho, the thing is though, those that are trying to bring down the monarchy, those that are trying to bring down King Charles by using, what happened in Southport as some kind of pawn, for all of this. Actually, as far as I'm concerned, is disgusting that they're using that in the first place to try and take him down, take the monarchy down, and that's really a futile attempt when you look at things like this, at freedom underscore 007 underscore the British Prince second, despite what critics say, royal family still has a unique connection and relationship with the public that politicians lack. An unspoken agreement with a history spanning a millennium and a bond that evolves and endures, which is quintessentially British. I mean, here, he's arriving. There you go. Okay, I'm
Might
going to
catch
have to mute
copyright.
that. But you heard like the cheers in the background, right? And then you've got things like this where, he's there visiting the crowds. They're all there, really, really glad and happy that he made the effort to come up. Here we've
Steph,
got,
can I say
go on.
something? Steph, sorry. I'm just saying, like, the public doesn't respect Charles like how they did with Queen Elizabeth, right? Or even people in government, some government officials don't respect King Charles the same that they did with Queen Elizabeth. Don't you feel like when Queen Elizabeth was around, she was the thread that kept everyone together and everyone respected her? And it's like since she's passed, everything's just gone haywire. And nobody like Charles, at least Queen Elizabeth would try and keep the whole political bonfire at a minimum, right? She would try and keep people calm and like hopeful. Whereas with Charles, you don't really get that, do you?
Well, yes and no. No, in the sense of, well, I'm not really that surprised with all the health issues that are going on in the royal family at the moment. King Charles diagnosed with cancer and now he's having to go through that. Princess Catherine with what she's going through. And then more recently, even the most hardest working royal in the family, Princess Anne, having to take time out with the horse incident. And
Mm-hmm.
so I do think that, yes, there is a very big difference between King Charles and Queen Elizabeth's reign, in terms of how Queen Elizabeth was treated in comparison to now how King Charles is being treated. But I think some of it is not his fault as to how he's being viewed and treated, because of the health situation with him and the rest of the royal family. Also because of the Hazard and Megsy situation. Again, damn it! This is supposed to be the dude, like, do you know what? Just put me to pasture right now. Like, game over. What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, that did not happen again. Damn it. But yeah, let's say other people in the royal family have not made things easy for King Charles, especially with, the first couple of years of his reign, let alone, the years preceding up to that. And so, yeah, I do see him being treated a bit differently. Maybe of lesser importance in comparison to Queen Elizabeth II. But yeah, there's a lot of external factors that I think explains that. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you there 100%.
Mm.
I just I just wish that King Charles would just rip the band-aid off and just cut the umbilical cord with the dimwit. And I didn't want to say the name. I just wish that he would just take charge and just end it already. Because the way that I see it, Steph, is that King Charles is getting treatment to take care of his illness, right? He's
Mm.
taking care to get rid of his cancer. Well, Harry and Meghan have been a cancer to the royal family since Meghan fell on Harry's Elizabeth Arden cream todger coated todger. Like, she has been a black mass to the royal family. So why don't you want to cut these two out?
Well, we will be getting onto that a little bit shortly in one way, shape, or form. In another segment that will be coming up shortly called Royal Zero of the Week. But yeah, with that being said, guys, if you appreciated what came out of Meghan's Mole's gob, and of course you did, because her logic is definitely undeniable, then do make sure on your way out you subscribe to Meghan's Mole's channel. She definitely has the PhD in moon bumpology. When they come to your channel, Meghan's Mole, just in a nutshell, what are they to expect, hon?
A lot of unalterated, basically honesty on Harry and Meghan and their wacky shenanigans. I have a very special vocabulary. I'm very funny with my words. So they'll not only enjoy what I talk about, but they'll also have a good laugh when they're watching my videos.
I know I do. I know I do. And if you appreciated what came out of my gob, and of course you did, then do make sure you subscribe to my channel on your way out. For everyone that's watching live, stay exactly where you are. We're not done with you yet. But for those watching on the replay, here are some videos that you may want to clickety click, clickety click. All right, guys. So that was the non-Hazard and Megxit news of the week, which I absolutely failed like, what, 3 times? You might as well just fire me now, guys. Like, what the absolute deuce. Before we crack on to the last 2 segments of the show, which is your Royal Hero and Royal Zero of the week. Thank you so much to Lynn Strope for that member chat saying King Charles would have been in the way earlier. That town had enough to deal with and didn't need to worry about protecting the king. And General Scott coming in, reminding everyone, guys, there's still a gifting war, gifting one leadership to one of you lucky lots out there. So everyone say, hey, up to our newest leader, courtesy of the General himself. Now, I did put a poll up. I'm going to end that now. And it was, do you think King Charles should have visited Southport sooner? 69% of you said no. 30% of you said yes. So in your guys' opinion, you were pretty much like, yeah, we understand it's Gucci why he left it a little while longer. So absolutely fair enough, guys. With that being said, let's crack on with yes, the next segment, Royal Zero of the Week. No, let's do Royal Hero. Yeah, do you know what? Fire me now. Guys, fire me now. I'm having brain farts all over the place. Meghan's Mole, I'm so sorry.
It's Friday. It's Friday. It's all good. It's Friday. We love a good brain fart.
Special one, so satisfying. Okay, let's go firstly with Royal Hero of the Week. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. Hey up everyone, it's me Stef the Alternerd, your nerdy alternative, and I am joined live with Meghan's Mole for this week's Royal Clubhouse that is live every Friday, 7 o'clock UK time, 2 o'clock Eastern. So if you want to catch us live, that's when to do it. But here in this segment, we are talking about the Royal Hero of the Week. Meghan's Mole, without further ado, who is your Royal Hero of the Week?
The Queen, Queen Elizabeth II. Nobody could beat her. I mean, I had to pick between her and Anne, but I had to pick the Queen. I had to pick the Queen. She's the original OG.
And what kind of spurred you to talk about the Queen Elizabeth II as this week's royal hero?
Well, I grew up with the Queen, right? She was reigning while I was growing up, and just watching her just be constantly like a pillar of strength for people and just being a positive person, just always looking out, like every message the queen would put out was about being positive, a positive outlook for the future, and that things will be okay. She would always be reassuring that, this too shall pass and things will be fine on the other side. That's how I always felt when I would look at the queen, and just she was always one of those that you wouldn't hear her complain. She would just get on with her duty. And I feel like that has been lost nowadays, where everyone basically is constantly whining about something. They're either a victim about something, they're complaining about their jobs. Like everyone is such a whiny, lazy, effing grifter that it's like we need someone strong like the queen again, that like basically girls can look up to. We need someone that is a better role model for girls that are growing up today, and not all this ass shaking and booty popping twerking that's going on. Like I don't find that to be like good for girls. So that's why I picked the queen.
Well, the Queen has popped up in the news the past couple of days because there's a book that's been released by Craig Brown, and he is alleging that Queen Elizabeth said that she found Donald Trump, quote, very rude. However, Donald Trump has fought back, saying that the claims are totally false, insisting that they actually had a great relationship. Donald Trump telling the Daily Mail, quote, I heard I was a favourite president. He said it was totally false. I have no idea who the writer is, but it was really just the opposite. I had a great relationship with the Queen. She liked me and I liked her. Do you think that Queen Elizabeth actually turned round and said that Donald Trump was very rude? Do you think she would
No.
actually say that?
No, I don't think the queen would ever say that to anyone, even to I don't even believe she would make a comment like that to her most closest confidant, who was Angela Kelly. I don't believe the queen to speak in that manner. Like she had a lot more grace, a lot more decorum. She was a lot more respectable. This feels like just some kind of gossip that would come out of Meghan Markle's mouth. Like he was very rude. No, I don't believe it at all. I think it's complete BS. I think that's just trying to sell this book, but we have never, like, think about it, Steph. When have we ever heard about the queen being very rude? Never. And then now that she has passed away and cannot defend herself, this BS story comes out. I'm actually kind of disgusted by it, to be honest. It's gross.
It is gross. There was a story that came out a year or two ago where apparently Queen Elizabeth II had actually described Meghan Markle as evil. Do you believe that took place? Do you believe Queen Elizabeth said that or said something to that effect?
I don't know about that. See, because I don't think the queen is that type of person to be so careless to make those kinds of remarks to someone, knowing that she's a lot smarter. I'm sure she would have known that had she said something like that, it would have came out in the press. So I don't believe that the queen would be speaking like that to anyone. I'm sure she had her thoughts about it. Maybe she shared her thoughts with Philip and was like, "Oh, that trollop, I can't stand her." But other than that, I don't think that she would make those kinds of comments to, like, say, courtiers or anyone else outside, say, her circle of, say, Prince Philip.
Hmm. Okay. Interesting. I do believe that there is an element of truth of Queen Elizabeth turning around and saying that Meghan Markle is evil, and Queen Elizabeth also turning around and saying that Donald Trump is rude. Maybe not in the way that it's being reported. So, for example, when Donald Trump came over for the state visit when he was president, he walked in front of Queen Elizabeth II when he was inspecting the guard. Now, that's a big
Rem-
no-no. Queen Elizabeth should always go first, right? She's the monarch. And
Yeah.
so I think there's an element of not turning around and saying that Donald Trump is rude per se, but turning around and saying, there were a lot of like a couple of mishaps at the very least of Donald Trump not following protocol that could be seen as rude. But no, that's not the intention. It's just maybe ignorance. He doesn't know any better, something like that. I think
Hmm.
that would make more sense as to where, this particular story is coming from, where apparently Queen Elizabeth is calling Donald Trump very rude back in the day.
Yeah, I
Does that make a
don't
bit
buy
more
it.
sense to you, maybe, where this is coming from?
It just seems like mindless gossip to me. I just don't see the queen speaking like that or just being careless with her comments in that way. I just don't see it. I don't see it.
Fair play. Well, that is Meghan's Mole Royal Hero of the Week. My Royal Hero of the Week, guys, is someone you may not have heard of ever before, but was an absolute integral part of Queen Elizabeth II's life. And it's the late Lady Arley. She was Queen Elizabeth's close confidant and first American lady in waiting, and she passed away this week at the age of 91. So to commemorate her and memorialize her, I thought, do you know what? I'm going to pick her as my royal hero of the week for all the decades, for all the years that Lady Arley put in to support the late Queen Elizabeth II in her duties. And so, just to give you a little bit of an overview here, Virginia Ginny Ryan was the first American to have served as a lady in waiting to the late Queen when she was appointed Lady of the Bedchamber in 1973, and was with her right up until Queen Elizabeth passed in September 2022. King Charles, understandably, has expressed his deep sadness at the death of Virginia Ogilvy, and I've probably mispronounced that, and I apologise, the Countess of Arley, one of the late Queen's dearest friends. Here we actually have a little bit of a clip here of when Donald Trump visited, and yeah, thanks to Sarah Diary Z for this. Queen Elizabeth II introduced the Countess of Arley to Donald and Melania Trump back in 2018. So just have a quick look at this. So for me, when they're turning around and saying that, she was, an integral part of Queen Elizabeth II's life, a very, very close confidant. When you look at that video, I definitely do believe it. It does back it up, because Queen Elizabeth is not just going to introduce the President of the United States to nobody. She's going to introduce him or her to the people that are of importance. And the Countess of Arley definitely was that. So, yeah, in memory and just paying my respects and being thankful for the Countess of Arley's decades of service to this country by helping and supporting Queen Elizabeth II with her duties. Countess of Arley is my hero of the week. Have you ever heard of the Countess of Arley before, Megan Small?
I haven't actually. No. So I was just listening very, very intently on what you were saying. No, I've never heard of her. And thank you for picking her as your hero. But I got a question though.
Go for it.
When it says that she was the queen's bedchamber, what was it? The lady of the bedchamber. Does that mean she was the one who had to empty out the chamber pots from back then?
So it's just like a person. Well, I've just Googled
Oh, okay.
this.
Yeah.
So let me be very real on this, because I get mixed up with what they all do and lady of this and lady of that. But lady of the bedchamber, Google is saying here, is the official position of a personal attendant on a British Queen regent or Queen consort. So, from what I can gather, it's it's really like a personal assistant, personal
Okay.
attendant, personal assistant, that kind of thing, to Queen Elizabeth II. I can only
Whenever I
assume that you had to go through the Countess of Arley to get to Queen Elizabeth II if you wanted an audience with her, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense because I saw bedchamber and then it took me back to like my old social studies where we learned about chamber pots. And I was like, was she in charge of dumping out the bucket? My brain goes left sometimes. Okay. So that's why I had to ask.
Do you know what? I don't blame you on that one. I really, really don't. With that being said, there was a poll in the live chat. I'm just going to end it now. Who is your royal hero of the week? So with all your votes cast, Meghan's Markle won. Queen Elizabeth II at 88%, Countess of Arley at 11%. For those watching on the replay, who is your royal hero of the week? Is it Queen Elizabeth II or the Countess of Arley? Let me know in the comments down below. Those that are watching on the live, stay exactly where you are. We're not done with you yet. We've still got to discuss the royal zero of the week. That's going to be fun. But when I can get my teeth back in, for those that were watching live on the replay, if you appreciated what came out of Meghan's Markle's gob, and of course you did because you voted for her pick quite overwhelmingly, then do head on over to Meghan's Markle's channel. In a nutshell, love, what are they to expect when they visit your YouTube corner of the universe?
A lot of very honest and unsugar coated commentary on Harry and Meghan and her bunions and wrapping her bunions around bananas. It's a fun time on my channel, so people are missing out.
I love the fun times on your channel, and I love it how you don't sugarcoat shiz. I don't either. Like, we're very, very blunt in terms of our opinions, conspiracy theories, whatever's. One of the reasons I would like to say we get on very, very well. And if you appreciated what came out of my gob, then make sure you subscribe to this channel for your daily nerds. With that being said, like I said, those that are watching live, stay exactly where you are. We are definitely not done with you guys yet. For those that are watching on the replay, though, here are some videos that you may want to clickety-click, clickety-click. All right, so we'll be starting the Royal Zero of the week in a moment. A few bits of support as they've been coming through. Ladybug13, thank you so much for your continued support for the leadership, saying, if the Queen said anything about Trump or Meghan, it would have been in private within the family, certainly not public. I mean, that's one thing that kind of sways me to think that maybe, you know, these things aren't true, because there would be like an iron kind of fortress around what Queen Elizabeth was saying, that it would have been nigh on impossible, I would say, for any of her thoughts, anything that she said in private, to actually jump out into the public. So Ladybug 13, yeah, I definitely get your point there. Stephen Magnus, thank you so much for the £2 sugar bucks, saying, don't forget Texas, Meghan with 10 photographers. Yeah.
Yeah, that was gross. That was gross.
Really gross. That was the Uvalde horrific incident, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting, that.
It's just so gross how these two love to exploit other people's pain and tragedy. It just grosses me out to no ends, which is why we need to keep going on and no, not trashing them. We need to have our hardline opinions about them.
And never stop. I mean, I remember, you know, speaking out against them in the past could actually do a lot of damage, you know, when it comes to, you know, channel, even, you know, privately as well, with the sugars. And they're still vicious to this day, but to me, their power is definitely wavering at this point. They're not, to me, they're not as scary as they once were. And I laugh at them now. I really, really do. And I'm like, do you know what? Come at it. Come at me. I'll just monetize you morons as I did last year.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, how do you deal with the sugars now?
Oh, I just comment back at them and I just laugh at them, or I just say, hey, make sure you're pressing that follow button and you're subscribed. I always bother them because with Twitter, my page is monetized, right? So I get engagement from them. And they seem to think that just because they come to my page and take a screenshot, you're still engaging with my tweet. Like I'm still making money off of you. So I just like to sometimes throw up a tweet that I know will trigger them. So then they'll like flood to my Twitter section and I just laugh at it. I just laugh at it.
Well, I laugh at it as well because you and I think of the same thought process with this, which is every time they watch a video, every time they're they're watching a stream and they're commenting, whether it's in the live chat or the comment section, it's all engagement. And
Yeah.
YouTube loves that. And it just promotes our
Exactly.
channels even further. So I'm
Exactly.
like, yeah, go nuts with it, sugars, because you're actually helping us, you
I,
morons.
I just started laughing. I'm like, you guys talk about me being a bully on Twitter, and yet more than half the things that they have said to me is horrifically vile. And if you go to and look at any of my tweets or messages to them, there's nothing along the lines of what they have said to me spouting towards them. Like the stuff that the sugars come out with, the Sussex squids say in our comment section are some of the most disgusting, degenerate comments I have ever seen. And a part of me, Steph, wonders if that is also why Harry and Meghan keep their children, their alleged phantom children, hidden, because their own fan base is so disgusting towards the Wales children. She probably thinks that us derangers, as the Sussex squid like to call us, she probably thinks that we are like that, but we would never attack a child in the way that the Sussex squids do.
No, no,
No, never.
no, no,
You
never.
have never seen me wish harm on Archie, Invisibet, or anyone, but yet we can pull out hundreds of tweets from her fan base that have done exactly that to the Wales family and other individuals, other creators such as yourself, myself, and others.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it's age old saying this now, but Hazza and Meggsy need to look in their own backyard first and clear out the Sussex squad and all the cyber harassment, bullying, and threats that they freely dish out in the names of Hazza and Meggsy before they even try and comment on the state of the rest of social media with the whole cyberbullying, harassment stuff that they don't like. It's absolutely hypocritical. And that's one thing actually that I do kind of congratulate the mainstream media on. Better late than never, but they've finally kind of caught up to this notion that Meggsy and Hazza are hypocrites. They're not dealing with the Sussex squad yet. You know, they're all about social online safety. Online safety is not there at the moment, largely because of the Sussex squad, the sugars.
It's so funny because they're talking about keeping children safe from being online, yet they went to Colombia and just exploited a whole bunch of children online with their photographs and everything, right? It's just walking hypocrites, walking hypocrites. All this talk about kindness, especially when Meghan talks about, oh, it's so hard to like keep a fight going and I just want to move past. Like, hello, have you looked at yourself? Like, you are the issue, you're the problem.
Knock knock, Meggsy Hazza, you're the problem. You need to sort the Sussex squad out. But yeah, speaking of the gruesome twosome, let's roll into the final segment of Royal Clubhouse, which is, yes, the Royal Zero of the Week. So let's crack on in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef, the alt nerd, your nerdy alternative, and I'm joined by my good friend Meghan's Mo for Royal Clubhouse Live. For those watching on the replay, we are live with Royal Clubhouse every Friday, 7 o'clock UK time, 2 o'clock Eastern. So you guys know when to catch us live if you're watching on the replay right now. But yes, we are going to be discussing the Royal Zeros of the Week. I've got my pick, Meghan's Mo's got hers. We'll start with you, Meghan Markle. Who is your royal zero of the week and why?
Our favorite ginger, our favorite Elizabeth Arden cream-coated Todger Prince. Prince Harry is my zero of the week. This man used to be loved by all the people around the world. He used to be respected. He used to have a seat at the state banquet dinners. And now he has given all that up to allow a failed ex-cable TV mattress actress pretend to be the royal superstar that she is in her brain. Harry is a moron. Harry should have been removed from the line of succession after he wrote about wanting to take out his own father in Spare, but just spared him at the last moment and instead obliterated a barn. Harry has shown himself to be a snake. He's shown himself to be a liar and to be a security threat to the royal family. I hope they cut them off. And I hope that Harry goes and lives in the chicken coop that he deserves because he picked that and he made his bed. He needs to lay in it.
Whoo! Well, some very strong words from Meghan's Markle. And this is the thing with Prince Harry, yeah. It looks like he may actually become a zero because the reports are coming through that he risks being removed from the line of succession. But not only him, but Archie and Lilibet as well. And so, due to his permanent residence outside of the UK and because he's not doing any official royal duties, his position as fifth in line to the throne and Archie and Lilibet's sixth and seventh in line to the throne is actually now allegedly in danger. And so we know that the family summit, the Royal Family Summit in Balmoral is happening at the moment. And one of the things that they're allegedly discussing is the option of actually taking the titles away from Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex titles. But it's not only that apparently they're discussing, they're also apparently discussing Harry, Archie and Lilibet's place in the line of succession. And so a source is saying that the order of succession can be altered by statute if a member of the royal family permanently resides outside the UK and no longer undertakes royal duties. If that were to happen, Harry's children could also be removed from the line of succession. Now, there is precedent for this in terms of the line of succession being altered over the years, where as a result, people have been taken out of the line of succession, people have moved up, moved down, left, right, and centre. With this news coming out that at Balmoral, at the family summit, the royals could also be discussing Harry, Archie and Lilibet's place in the line of succession. Firstly, do you believe those discussions are taking place? If so, why? If not, why? Meghan's Markle?
I hope those discussions are being taken place. And I don't know why this is taking so long. If I was King Charles, when Harry and Meghan first decided to Megxit back in 2019, after the Queen gave them that whole 1 year grace period, and they still got their allowance from King Charles, which was 4.5 million pounds during that time, when they decided in March of 2020 that they didn't want to come back to the royal family, everything should have been put in abeyance at that time. You don't want to be a royal working member. You said you want to be a private citizen. You want your children to be private, as they mentioned, right? So everything should have gone into abeyance then. And that's what I think. Like, put Harry's titles, Prince titles into abeyance and take the children out of the line of succession until those children are proven that they were born of Meghan's body. Take them out of the line of succession. Who has ever heard, Steph? Like, tell me this. Am I crazy? Who has ever heard of an American born child that no one in the royal family has ever seen within the British line of succession and titled as a princess?
You got me there.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's wild. It's like, how do you, an American in the British line of succession and nobody even knows that she exists? I mean, they say that Harry and Meghan sent over a letter that shows that, oh, she was born, whatever. But these are two people that have shown us they will lie in a high court. Like, these two are liars. So why would you take some document that they sent over and just, like, the people want answers, I think, and they deserve the answers.
I would agree with that. We do have Robert Blackburn, a professor of constitutional law at King's College London, saying that although living abroad does not equally then assume that he's then disqualified from actually becoming king or having his place in the line of succession, he could still be removed by an act of parliament. So he says here, like Edward VIII, Prince Harry does not wish to perform the role of royalty expected of him and has withdrawn to live abroad. Presumably, therefore, Prince Harry would be agreeable to abdicate his place in succession if for any reason this became an issue in royal affairs being legislated upon. No, he would not be agreeable whatsoever. Megsy definitely would not be agreeable whatsoever to that. She would try and stop that in every single way possible. So he says, several acts of parliament have changed the law on succession or imposed conditions. So from what I said earlier on, this is not out of the blue. There have been legal changes to the line of succession before that has taken people out, moved people down, moved people up. But he adds that for a measure like this, it's customary for the British government to take the initiative and introduce the bill, not King Charles. And so I have reported over the years that, there have been a couple of politicians in the UK that have tried to introduce bills into Parliament to get them passed to at least try and get Hazard and Meg's titles removed. The removal of titles bill is the one that springs to mind for me, which is now, it looks like it's freaking dead in the water. But
Doesn't it feel like we're getting ping pong back and forth constantly, Steph, and not getting a straight answer? I mean, how long has this been going on now? And we hear from Parliament, oh, King Charles has to start something. And it's like ping pong back over, oh, Parliament has to do something. And then it's like ping pong back over, King Charles has to. So what can King Charles do as the king then? What special powers does he have then? Then does he get to not do anything at all? Is it that easy for the royal family to just be like, oh, here, you can have titles, but then taking them away when you have shown many times that you're treasonous, you can't just take them away? It's like pulling teeth when it comes to taking them away. It's weird.
It is weird. It is very strange. I think part of the reason why I think King Charles is not taking the titles away is because it would create a lot of stress for him, a lot of stress that he can't really afford to take on at the moment, given his health situation. I think that this is the rumblings and the beginnings of getting the UK public ready for when it actually happens. When Hazard and Megsy do get their titles removed and Hazard, Lilibet and Archie are removed from the line of succession. But I don't think it's going to be King Charles who's going to do that. I think it's going to be King William. Because the reports are coming through that he will not allow Harry back in any way, shape or form. Prince William is done with that ginger traitor, right? So I think that when King William ascends to the throne, and I presume he'll keep his first name as King William, he's going to be the one that drops the hammer and not King Charles. What do you think to that? Do you agree, disagree?
I feel bad for William that he has to deal with it. I feel like William has had to deal with Harry his entire life and constantly looking out for him and everything. It would be nice if the demon seed that came from Charles's balls would deal with it himself. Charles should be the one that deals with it. It's not William who produced Harry. It was Charles who produced Harry. I mean, it doesn't make sense for it to be left for Prince William, because think about it, Steph. What if we don't know how much damage Harry and Meghan will do until it's time for King William to step up? We don't know, King Charles maybe he might live another 10 years before King William steps up. So is he just going to allow Harry and Meghan to go on like this? Because people are turning their backs on the monarchy because of this, because there's no reaction or nothing's being done about Harry and Meghan. One question I want to ask you. When Harry and Meghan were removed off of the royal website, how did that make you feel?
Oh, I was like, yes. For a split moment, because they were quickly put back on.
30 minutes. For 30
Yeah.
minutes. How did you feel in that 30 minutes?
I was like, yes, King Charles, get in, mate. Get it done. Remove them. Yes. I was ecstatic. I was like, finally.
Everyone was excited, Steph.
Mm.
Everyone was happy about it. So why wouldn't and then when everyone saw that they were put back on the site, everyone was disappointed. So shouldn't that be a signal to Charles, like, look, this is what the people want. Just a stroke of his quill pen and his fancy calligraphy. He can put those titles into abeyance, because look at how happy the people and the public were when they were just removed from the site. You even said it just now. Everyone was ecstatic. You were happy. Charles could deal with this easily, and I wish that he wouldn't leave it for William. It's not fair for William to have to deal with his brother and swing the axe on his brother.
I definitely agree with that. I just don't think that King Charles has the mental strength to be able to deal with that at the moment with his own health issues. Maybe, you know, when his health issues get better, maybe we might see King Charles swinging the axe, potentially. But at the moment, I don't see it. But I do see, you know, rumours at the very least of apparently, you know, these discussions taking place of removing the titles, removing them from line of succession, this, that and the other, as a very positive step forward, that they are listening to the general consensus of the public in terms of the gruesome twosome and what the general public think in terms of them having these titles and being in the line of succession. So it definitely is also a positive indicator that they are in touch with the general consensus of the gruesome twosome with their titles in the line of succession. Now, moving on to very swiftly my pick of the week, it is Meghan Markle and Meghan Markle. Definitely for me, Royal Zero of the week, courtesy of Netflix and Victoria Beckham. Yeah, so in the most posh news ever, Victoria Beckham documentary series has been announced and it's now in production. And yeah, I do not remember any announcement from Netflix doing this when Megxie announced that she was going to be doing her cooking friendship show, this, that, and the other for Netflix. Netflix didn't do this announcement. So yet again, Megxie being beat by her arch nemesis, Victoria Beckham, time and time again. This is just so sweet. It makes her an absolute zero, like just not relevant whatsoever in comparison to actual relevant celebrities and A-listers such as Victoria Beckham.
I swear I heard the screeches from Montecito when it happened, when this news dropped. I heard a whole bunch of plates crashing too and a muffled.
Do you know what? I still hear them right now. But this is a stroke of genius because this is in the same week that I did a video on this earlier on this week, guys, where to me, you know, Megxie in Colombia, she was wearing a Victoria Beckham shirt, a brown shirt with the brown pants, and it was just sweaty. She was sweating through the clothing. And to me, it's like, hang on a minute. A designer does not want their clothes blasted all over the world media and it's all sweaty. It's not like sweating these clothes, this is why you buy them kind of situation at like $1,500 a pop for a t-shirt or whatever, this, that and the other. Like, I think Megxie made Victoria Beckham totally cringe when those pictures came out and she was sweating through that Victoria Beckham shirt.
You would think she would learn her lesson after the first time at Canada House where she was a sweaty mess. But I honestly, Steph, like, in what world because I heard that this was Meghan's way of like extending an olive branch to Victoria by wearing one of her shirts after that whole falling out that they had. Number one, there's no more branches left on the olive tree, okay? Leave the poor olive tree alone. There's no more branches. And number two, only a moron would think that wearing someone's shirt to an event after you basically accuse them of selling stories would smooth everything over. That's something someone like the age of 10, no offense to 10-year-olds, would think. Oh, if I wear my best friend's shirt, we can be besties again and nothing, we'll be all okay again. I mean, it just adds to her level of delusion, let's be honest.
But it made me really angry how the media was trying to spin it. Turning round and saying, quite literally, Meghan Markle wearing pal Victoria Beckham's shirt or something along these lines. Wake up, mainstream media. They're not pals. They're not pals whatsoever.
Yeah.
Victoria Beckham and David Beckham were invited to the wedding. But guess what? Who wasn't invited to their eldest son's wedding? Brooklyn
those two,
Beckham
of
to
course.
Nicola Peltz a few years ago.
Mhm.
They're not
Yeah.
pals. They've fallen out. And for good reason as well, as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned.
Well, this is the same thing Megan used to do when she was climbing up the greasy pole of stardom, right? She would constantly attach her name to bigger stars to seem like she was still in goods with them. That's her way of riding coattails. This is how she does it, by connecting her name to people that are more famous than her. She's just a leech. Let's be honest. She's just a huge leech.
Time and time again, patterns keep repeating. I just wonder
Yeah.
why. But yeah, with that being said, that is my pick for Royal Zero of the week. There has been a poll in the live chat whilst we've been chatting. Let's end that now and see where we are at. Let's have a gander. Hey, so I finally won one, guys. It's the first time. Who is your Royal Zero of the week? Prince Harry at 26%, very respectable. Megsy, 73%. So you have deemed Meghan Markle your Royal Zero of the week. Everyone watching on the live, stay exactly where you are. We are not done with you yet. But if you appreciated what came out of Meghan's mole's gob, and you definitely did, you guys. You voted for her. Then do make sure you head on over to her YouTube channel, Meghan's Mole. Meghan's Mole, when they come over to your channel, what are they to expect?
A whole bunch of fun content about Harry and Meghan, and it's not sugar coated, and we just have a lot to laugh. But yeah, they should come over and listen to what I have to say about the dimwits of Montecito.
The dimwits of Montecito. Love it. Love it. I love how you've got away with words, I'm just saying. Did you actually come up with PhD of moonbumpology yourself? I assume so.
How did that come about? I forget. Someone had mentioned it. No, I can't take credit for it. I forget who it was, but someone had mentioned it like, Mole, you deserve a PhD in moonbumpology, and it's just stuck ever since. So I can't take credit for it. I can't remember who originally came up with it, but yeah, full credit to that person.
Fair play. And if you appreciated what came out of my gob, then do make sure when you're watching live on the replay, you subscribe to join our alternate tribe. Like I said, for those watching on the live, stay exactly where you are. We are not done with you yet. For those watching on the replay, who was your Royal Zero of the week, Meghan Markle or Prince Harry? Let me know in the comments down below. And for those watching on the replay, here are some videos that you may want to clickety click, clickety click. Okay, and that is it for the Royal Zero of the week. Before we go, we've just got a few messages of support. Stephen Magnus, thank you so much for the £5 sugar bucks, saying the Duke and Duchess of Sussex was removed 14th of August 2019 from the Royal Foundation. So it was the Royal Foundation of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. Yep. I remember when that was removed. My goodness. That caused a little bit of a stir. And then we've got Susan King. Thank you so much for the very, very generous $20 sugar bucks. Saying William has fired Camilla's sister, Annabelle Evans, and Camilla's son, Thomas, and he's firing her daughter, Laura. He wants Camilla's family hands out of royal pockets. I assume that's what you try to say. That's what worries Charles. Okay, it's not that he's... Okay, so the story that's coming out is not that he's firing them, but that he is stopping them receiving funds from the Duchy of Cornwall. That's his right. That's his decision,
Yeah.
as he is now the Prince of Wales and in charge of the Duchy of Cornwall. And if anything, I don't think that would worry King Charles at all, because that would actually speak to King Charles's penchant of wanting to slim down the monarchy and being better bang for your buck kind of situation. So I think he would actually agree with that. And anyway, Camilla's children and family are doing very well, even without any royal cash. So let's be real there. And
Why
then
would they even be getting any royal cash? That's kind of like, why are you guys getting a handout from anyways? It does take me back to that whole I don't know if you knew, but there was an excerpt that came out of a book not too long ago that said that Doria had even received an allowance too.
yeah,
So,
I
hey,
had heard of that.
Charles, if you're just giving money out, hey, over here, this way, Steph and I could use some.
Kiwi! Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Even just like 1% of the Duchy of Cornwall would set us up quite literally for life.
Hey, 0.5 would do me good. I'd be good with like 0.25, okay?
Oh, I'm being way too greedy then with the 1%. And then we've got Squeegee Beckenheim. Thank you so much for the $5 sugar bucks. Saying if someone told the entire world about my Todger, I wouldn't forgive it either. Earlier time in history, that book would have sent Hazard to the Tower and never seen again. I do believe, opinion conspiracy theory, whatever, that Hazard is a traitor. And he would have been dealt with in the olden days in quite a more decisive manner and way than he is being treated right now. That is for damn certain. With that being said, guys, we are coming to the end of Royal Clubhouse Live. I want to thank again my very good friend Meghan Markle for joining me for this week. Thank you so much, honey. I hope you come on again. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you appreciated what came out of a gob, then please do make sure you head on over to her channel. Let's get her to 200,000. Guys, she's been doing this now for such a long time. She definitely deserves to reach that milestone. So alternates assemble. Get your backsides over to Meghan Markle. Everything I know about the whole moon bombology situation, I got it from this lass here. So let's be real. Meghan's Mole is where it's at for when you need to know the moon bombology and so many other stuff about royal family. I mean, you are well known for moon bombology and, you know, the potential existence of Archie and Lilibet. But what else do you discuss on your channel apart from what you're most well known for?
So I do discuss basically I'm very observant, so I tend to catch like little moments or slices of things that other people might not catch on to that I like to expose in my videos. I like to talk about Meghan's past behaviors. I like to just bring up the past and remind people that there is a pattern with this woman. There is a pattern with this raggedy trollop who wants to pretend that she is a feminist and role model for all girls, which she isn't. And she's trying to censor us. So we need to get our voices out there even more, right? So yeah, thank you, Steph, for everything. Really, thank you. Like, I love being here, and I hope you invite me back. And onwards and upwards to like 250K for you, girl. Like, go, come on. Your channel is exploding here, and I'm so proud of you.
I'm proud of you too, honey. You know, keeping on and, you know, not letting anyone shut you up or silence you through fear or threat. you have just continued with what you believe in and saying what you say, calling a spade, not sugarcoating shiz, regardless of everything that's being thrown at you. And you've got my huge major respect for that. Anyone that just calls a spade, already I'm like, dude, you're my kind of people. Let's put it that way. I hate when people like beat around the bushes and try and say it without saying it. It's like, dude, ball up, say what you mean, say what you say, and let's just get this show on the road, right? But never mind about me. Meghan's Mole definitely deserves to get to 100,000 subscribers. So, guys, let's help make that happen. With that being said, thank you again to Meghan's Mole for joining me for this week's Royal Clubhouse Live. I will definitely invite you back on. We've had so much fun, had a few laughs. I hope you guys have had fun and have had a few laughs at home, wherever you are watching in the world. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will be live again on Sunday for the Daily Nerd Live Sunday edition, 10 o'clock UK time, 5 o'clock Eastern. And the segments for the Harry and Meghan, Non-Hazard and Megxy, Royal Hero and Royal Zero of the week, they will all be released individually over the weekend. So keep your eyes peeled for that and give them some extra love when you see them in your notifications and whatnot. But yeah, thank you so much for joining today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you guys on Sunday. And until the next time, guys, laters. Bye.